back to the podcast. Hello, happy New Year to those. I was gonna say to those watching the New Year. It is the New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. January 1st.
Yeah, that's when we're recording this, and I'll probably put this out today too, because no reason to delay it. So, yeah, happy New Year's. I hope everyone had a good celebration, good time with friends or family, or just by yourself, whatever you're doing. And I hope everyone has a good New Year.
Yeah, I don't know if the new year went fast or slow or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's definitely one of those ones that I think went pretty fast, but when you look at it and you look at everything that happened, you're like, how the hell did all of that happen in just this year? So
Yeah,
it's a weird paradoxical, it went fast physically, but when you look at it, it went slow because you're like, holy crap.
yeah. I'm all bundled up now because it's colder in my house than outside.
Hmm.
It was so beautiful up until yesterday when the wind chill was in the 30s, and now it's like 60, but I'm cold. So bundled up. To,
Hmm. I like the blue. It's fitting.
yeah, I'm just a good-looking guy in blue. Today, there was an article. I seldom read whole articles that are long, but I tend to agree with this article by Max Burns that was submitted to The Hill. And it's just his opinion.
Hmm.
It's not the opinion of The Hill. So I'll get into it and I'll start reading it, and you could cut in whenever you want to make a comment on what he said, okay?
Yeah.
The Trump administration has given up has given us precious little to be thankful for this year. As 2025 draws to a close, history will remember it as a year scarred by the chaos of a White House that seemed intent on breaking the back of our democracy once and for all. It is a psychologically exhausting time for the millions already coping with a sagging job market and a rising consumer price. Anything to say about that?
I I agree with it. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
it sucks.
A year in review posted by Media80 lists dozens upon dozens of Trump scandals, crises, and abuses while still failing to capture the full scope of incompetence and malice that defies this administration. Millions from all walks of life spent the year grappling with political earthquakes brought on by a non functional and increasingly irrelevant Congress, a Supreme Court complicit in Trump's radicalization of ICE, and a historic tariff driven wave of small business bankruptcies. As Mediaite discovered its own attempt to catalog the damage, the aftershocks are simply too numerous to count.
Yeah. Uh, uh yes, Trump is wreaking havoc across the country and dismantling and disrupting every department. That makes absolute sense, and I agree.
Yeah. On the eve of America's 250th birthday, what should be a celebration of enduring freedom feels in many ways like a looming funeral. Ooh, I agree with that.
It does.
2025 saw the shredding of America's social fabric to the point that Democrats and Republicans now seem to inhabit two mutually exclusive realities. One nation under God has quickly become many nations under grievance.
Okay.
A Pew Research Center,
Pew.
A Pew Research Center, PEW, published this month shows just how far things have fallen in the opening decades of the 21st century. Back in 2001, 54% of Americans reported trusting the federal government, a
Hmm.
slight increase from 47% who felt that way in the 1980s. Now, public trust in government is scraping historic lows across every metric. As of 2025, only 17% of Americans believe what their government is telling them is true.
Yeah. That makes total sense because when you have a president who's just nonstop lying, you know, he uses lying for political gain.
That doubt goes far beyond just factually impaired politicians like Trump, too. As PBS News reported in October, fewer and fewer people trust government inflation numbers or job reports, thanks to, in large part, of Trump's constant demands that labor and economic statistics serve his political interests instead of reflecting objective reality. Public officials who are willing to fudge their numbers in order to make Trump look good quickly found themselves out of their jobs.
Hmm.
As ousted Bureau of Labor Statistics Commissioner Erica McEntarfa discovered in August. Pew data from September reveals that the collapse of public trust in institutions is widespread. Most Americans now believe the Supreme Court has become too powerful and too unaccountable.
Hmm.
Public approval of the nation's highest court has fallen by 25% since 2020, with a majority now viewing the court's justices unfavorably. America's record level of distrust isn't confined to the government. A Gallup poll found that trust in the media hit a new low of 28% in the back half of the year, with more than 1/3 of respondents saying they didn't trust the news at all.
Yeah.
Voting age Americans now get their news from a larger number of sources than ever, from social media outlets like you, Peter, like
Yes.
TikTok and X, to YouTube influencers, and occasionally even legacy news outlets like the New York Times. Yet poll after poll suggests they are unlikely to trust any news except that which confirms their pre-existing political beliefs, which makes compromise and even reasoned political discussion all but impossible. Most Americans don't even trust their own neighbors or family members anymore.
Yeah.
Nearly half of Americans now think members of the opposing political party are evil. Political polarization has increased so dramatically, that both sides now routinely label their opponents as threats to democracy itself. Things have grown so tense that 1 in 5 American households report experiencing family estrangements due to political disagreements. Our families are quite literally collapsing from the weight of all-consuming political and social hatreds. It feels like things are falling apart in America because they are. Our institutions, our media, even our families are falling victim to the toxicity of a culture in which politics now consumes every aspect of our lives and finds itself amplified by a president who wields divisiveness like an artist uses a paintbrush. That will only get worse as our nation careens into what is certain to be a brutal 2026 midterm election campaign. America may still be here, but we mark the 250th birthday anything but united. Max Burns, who wrote this article, is a veteran Democratic strategist and founder of Third Degree Strategies.
Yeah. He's I agree just about entirely of what he's saying because I mean there's a lot to unpack. There is a lot to unpack regarding this piece. I think he speaks quite well for the Hill because, again, in my opinion, we said this off camera, but in my opinion, I look at the Hill as not bad. I don't think the Hill is bad, but I don't think the Hill is my go-to. I wouldn't put the Hill in like my top five. Um,
Yeah, but like he said, this is his opinion, not the Hills.
no, I know, but I'm just saying the fact that he is on the Hill, right?
Yeah.
He is not representing the Hill, and the Hill is not representing him in this sense. You can have good reporters in bad areas. That I get that.
Mhm.
Um,
You know,
but
that last part really rings a bell because
what?
where
Which part?
families have to be united in their political beliefs, because I know that people who want to get engaged or get married, if they have different, or even difficult political beliefs, uh, that might prevent them from getting married.
Yeah. Well, because we live in a day and age where it politics right now is borderline life and death for some people because on one hand you have a party that's willing and openly lying about entire races of people so that they can justify deporting them and putting them in camps across the US and in other countries in torture camps. Um, and then another party that doesn't want to do that and wants to fix immigration in a way that maybe is more reliable, but not by mass deporting and putting people in torture camps. So, uh, one example. Another example is one wants to work on giving everyone health care, and the other wants to take away health care for certain immigrants, for certain women, for abortion rights, for certain people because they want to be a woman instead of a man or a man instead of a woman. Like it one side is advocating for maiming and harming of life, and the other side is in some respects, right? Let's be very clear. I'm using these specific examples. Neither party is fantastic. Neither party is perfect, and neither party is truly at the best interest of the people, especially what we've seen this past year with how both on at least the national level, both parties very much just are willing to blow tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars to foreign agents uh, rather than fix anything within this country. So let's be very clear on a national level, neither side is doing anything great. But one side is actively pursuing and advocating and making policies around harming as many people as possible that are not white and Republican.
Yeah,
So
so when we
when
have the
when when you are having those kinds of conversations, right? If you're someone who's in one of those marginalized groups or one of those groups that are going to be hurt, and your significant other you're supposed to get married to thinks that you shouldn't have rights, yeah, I wouldn't want to marry them either. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like that's the tough part. I say tough part. It's actually pretty easy when you boil it down. But you know,
and then especially when you're married, when all of a sudden you switch camps.
well, that's a whole separate issue, right? In my opinion, depending on which way you switch, I would argue means that you were always in that realm, right? In my opinion, if you were someone who claims to have been left-leaning, progressive, not necessarily Democratic, because I'd say Democrat, at least on the national level, is quite central. Um, if you claim to have been progressive and left-leaning, but then magically turned to a full-on Trumper, you were never you were never a progressive. There was never a because it's understandable to switch from Trumpism to progressive or left wing because that follows education, that follows knowledge. When you actually begin to understand certain things, education inevitably leans you left. that is statistically a thing. But to turn to right wing, where the foundation and the core of it is grifting and lying and falsifying data,
Mm.
if to switch to that means that it is a personal emotional reaction, because that's a lot of what right-wing politics is, at least right now, is reactionary emotional policy. And so to switch to that is not one out of intelligence, it's one out of emotions. Therefore, I would argue if you swap from, let's say, something that is arguably left to something that is right, like Trumpism, it's not, that was always your path. You were always going to find the right. You were just needing an excuse to get over there, versus choosing the left is one that maybe comes out of evolving.
Yeah, people just tend to believe what they hear initially. They don't deep
Yeah. Oh, I agree. A
dive.
lot of people are politics is about emotions. It's about how it makes you feel, right? That is 100% true on every sense for the common layperson, the general public. They, the amount of people that I hear, see, or speak to that are like, well, my gas is pretty cheap. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't mean anything on the national scale just because your gas at your local place is cheap
Yeah.
because you live 10 miles from where the oils come from. Yeah, of
Mhm.
course. But if we're looking at the scale of the nation, it's not good. So, it's very much about how they
Yeah.
feel and their individual experience.
Like he said in the article, the numbers are being fudged, unemployment, uh, uh, all important numbers are being fudged. Uh, it just bothers me that people don't understand that like $2 or $3 trillion of the American dollar is going to be printed this month.
Yeah.
So the more it's being printed, the less they're worth. But they just look, oh, the stock market's up, it's up. The
Well,
stock
because
market's up.
again, right, there it's individualism. America is about individualism at its core, and it's about me first, you second. And everyone's trying to me first, you second. So that's why the stock market is so important to them, because their money is going up. They don't care what happens afterwards, because so long as they make enough money for their retirement, they don't care. It's not about the community. It's not about actually progressing society, because they don't care about participating in society unless it benefits them, unless it's for what they want. But in regards to fudging the numbers, right, the thing that makes it so difficult and such a destructive situation in this presidency is everyone knows the government fudges numbers and has been fudging numbers for decades, right? We know the Pentagon has failed how many audits now? This is their eighth failed audit. We know that some of that money is going towards things that it shouldn't be. We know people are being overcharged and overpaid. We know some of that money is also going to probably black ops things that they don't want to say because it would give away to foreign agents. Get it, right? But so we know the government is fudging numbers on the Pentagon, on in Congress, wherever. But the problem and the difference with this administration versus past ones is, at least in the past, some things would still get done. Some things would still happen. With this administration, he wants everything fudged. He wants everything to be perfect and look North Korea style. Everything has to be miraculous, and if it's not, then we have to completely hide it, right? That's why he's hiding the job numbers. That's why he's hiding the Epstein files. That's why he's
And the
hiding all of these
inflation
things,
numbers.
right? The inflation numbers and so forth. I don't, to my knowledge, we haven't had a president prior to this that was hiding job numbers and inflation numbers. Again, it's understandable to assume that there was probably some fudging even in those numbers for decades, right? To make them look a little better. But this is the first president who dared to completely go against everything and say, no, we're just not going to share them. The thing that is shared every single year that we're supposed to be doing, it's part of the policy, we're just not going to do this year because it doesn't make me look good.
Mhm.
The the issue, excuse me, is the nuance, right? you're going to have people who say, well, our government fudges numbers all the time. What's the difference now? The difference now is it's much more aggressive and it's much faster decay, right? You could argue we've been decaying as a society for decades. But
Yeah.
what this specific presidency is doing such a rapid succession of decisions that are breaking down portions of our government at a time and dismantling them at such breakneck speed that it goes well beyond just, well, other politicians have done it in the past. It's well beyond that. You know,
Yeah.
me flicking you in the arm is much different than me swinging a bat at your head.
Yeah. You know what's scary, Peter? And we've discussed this in the past. We have now become a debtor nation. We owe 36 or 38 trillion
I think it's
dollars.
38 trillion now.
Yeah, $1 trillion a year in interest,
Yeah.
and soon the other large countries are going to cut off the use of American dollars and
Well, that's
utilize.
what BRICS is, BRICS. They're setting
Yeah,
up a currency outside of the US, 100%.
yeah.
And
Tomorrow,
that's also why we're currently bombing Venezuela because we're trying to gain control of oil that if the US doesn't, another country is going to, and it's going to lock us out even more out of any form of buying power leverage for other countries. 100%.
tomorrow, China is going to close their vaults on silver, which we need for our commercial use. And we will not be getting enough silver for all the commercial uses that we need because you can't just make it appear magically. We
Yeah.
have very little silver left in our coffers. Now, I have a question for you. What do you make of Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Grifter, like Joe Rogan and Trump and anyone else. They're grifting. She is positioning herself away from Trump the same way that the 20 to 30 Republicans who have said that they're going to be retiring next year are also positioning themselves away from Trump. He is a sinking ship. It is very obvious that he is starting to lose his base and lose people because he's lied too much. Every single thing he has promised, he has lied upon, he has lied on, and either not done or paid Peter to pay Paul type thing. So yeah, he's losing his base. Marjorie Taylor Greene shifting away from him is not her turning left. It's her just not wanting to be affiliated with what will be the inevitable downfall of the Trump administration.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's gonna be a lame duck, so he could probably do whatever he wants, and things are gonna get worse.
yeah, well, but
Well, we call it. We shouldn't say lame duck. We should say lame schmuck.
yeah, there you go.
Lame schmuck. Yeah.
His incessant overpromising and just straight lying has, had he been a president, I'd say 30 years ago, this might have been a little easier for him. But because we have social media and we have such fast access to all the information and data that is verifiable, and things can go viral in places that they used to not, right? Like talking about the Epstein files, talking about Doge and all the money that they claimed to have saved and then didn't. Things like that, where had Trump 30, 40 years ago done that and promised, right? Elon Musk promised in October of 2024 at a Trump rally that Doge would save $2 trillion. I'm sorry, because I've just researched this because I had to do a video on this. Elon Musk promised in October at a Trump rally that Doge would save $2 trillion in the first year. At inauguration, he changed that to, well, we'll actually save $1 trillion, 1 trillion, by September of 2025. If you go to the wall of receipts, which is Doge's website that shows you how much money they've saved, They've only saved what they claim is $214 billion. It's, as of recording this, it's January 1st, 2026. We are October, November, December, January. We are 4 months, 4 months past the due date of what he said would be a trillion, and we're at 214 billion. And that's again with clarification that all the contracts that are on that website are aggressively overblown in terms of numbers, and there's a lot of errors. Some of those are not actual things that they've saved on. Some of them are currently in court and getting reversed, right? Like a lot of people who were fired, federal workers who were fired, a lot of them are being placed back in their positions by federal judges. Um, so there's a lot of errors. So it's not 214 billion, right? But they're displaying their mistakes. Oh, and the website hasn't been updated since October 4th. It says it on the website, last updated
Mhm.
October 4th of 2025.
Yeah, we've lost our total system of checks and balances in this country.
We have. But my point is with things like Doge, with things like Epstein, how monumental their failures are and how much certain people put themselves into these things. The amount of people I saw online that were vying for Doge, they were so proud of Doge. They said Doge was going to save us so much money, they couldn't wait. You don't hear anyone talking about Doge anymore
Mm,
because
mm,
because it was a grift, because it was a lie. It was simply to
mm.
dismantle certain departments so that Trump could put private equity and his buddies in there and establish loyalists so that they can sap more money and make more money in the ways that they want. It's a grift. And had this happened 40 years ago, it may not have been able to be put on blast and gone as trending and gone on to as many people inside and as many people's minds as it does now, which is part of the reason why there's a push for online censorship and social media control. But
Yeah.
the, especially with the Epstein files too, right? We just saw they just found 5.2 million more documents that they claim they just discovered. They didn't just discover those. Someone who wasn't in the Trump administration released and said there's these numbers, and now they're panicking to uh, uh, redact them.
Yeah, you
Jack
know,
Smith just had his hearing yesterday or 2 days ago,
yeah.
and he said that without shadow of a doubt they had proof that Trump was involved with trying to overthrow uh, the 2020 election. And I just was reading about this today because it happened
Mhm.
yesterday and the day before. It's going crazy. The evidence that he's releasing, he had subpoenas of phone calls, he had Republicans willing to testify. He said that they could have gotten a guilty verdict just off of the Republican testimonies. And he had more than that. And that the basically the reason Trump ran again was purely to escape jail.
Yeah.
Um, but again, all this information that is being blasted to the public, even if you don't necessarily find it today, you may see it tomorrow. You may see it in 4 days. You may hear about it on the news if it gets big enough. And the fact that we have cable television, the fact that we have websites, we've got a dime a dozen news websites that are posting about it. So many places to hear about it, and it's just not good news. And it's just more furthering of how much this administration was fudging numbers and just lying and overpromising. And
Yeah,
people are tired of it.
I wonder how much garbage is going to be left when he leaves, because like we have China uh, doing war exercises,
Yeah. Well,
and
so that there's the theory that, an empire only lasts 250 years. So we are at the 250th. So there's the people are arguing that this may be the fall of Rome. We will have to see, right? Fall of Rome doesn't happen in a day, but this is what people are arguing is that, the 250th is sort of the benchmark cap of an empire. And we have reached that. And it's fitting that so many problems are happening because it parallels the concerns and theories that Rome is falling.
yeah. Also, what bothers me is I don't know if it's true. I believe it is, but I can't substantiate that Trump, his companies, through his children running them, have made billions of dollars during his
Yes. No,
presidency.
no, no, he absolutely has. Jared Kushner, who's not supposed to, who's not even an official administrative worker, is the current spearhead for foreign affairs with Saudi Arabia and a couple others.
And
And
then
he
I
was
heard,
given a 600, what was it, 600 million or $600 billion contract on behalf of the White House
yeah, it doesn't
to,
sound kosher.
you know,
Yeah, I heard, but I don't know if it's true, that Barron Trump has made $40 million in crypto under his
yeah.
name.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that I mean that's its own separate thing. Anyone who gets involved in crypto, I'm sorry, you lack some IQ points. I'm sorry to tell you. Crypto is the fattest scam on the planet. So far, to my knowledge, there is not one successful crypto uh coin. There's some that we can say are stable, right? Like Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Mhm.
Bitcoin has dropped something, I think it was like five or $10,000 in the past couple of months. Uh, a bunch of people were selling them off, but Trump
And
scammed with his, he did Trump coin, he did Melania coin, and then he did another coin. And they were worth whatever, projected to be worth whatever, $100 million. Everyone bought in the moment they went live. They tanked the price because they sold everything, and he walked away with millions upon millions of dollars.
my
Like
son,
it's not even like it's in the shadows. It's up front. The math and the evidence is there.
my son was visiting with his family, and when he's here, we go on little trips. And we had gone to the University of Tampa, and near the University of Tampa is Hyde Park, and it was beautiful. The lights were on, and it was an outdoor upscale shopping center, gigantic, all the famous names, and the place was loaded with people. It was really beautiful. And as I'm walking, I see something, and I just started to laugh. And I say, "This is not good." I'm laughing. A truck came by, buy, be American, buy Trump vodka.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So anyway, let's see what
He,
happens.
yeah, he's Trump vodka. What are we at now? What is that, the fifth grift? We got the Trump
Water,
phone, the
water,
Trump.
steaks.
Well, no, no, I'm talking just this presidency. I'm talking
Yeah.
just this presidency. He's got the Trump phone, the Trump watch, the Trump gold immigration card for $1 million, Trump vodka, I guess, and I thought there was one other one. I could have sworn it was, but yeah, it again, right? Like uh, there's going to be people who go, well, no, he's just trying to make money. Like, hell yeah, good for him. It's like, yeah, great. You very much just you are no better than the Bezos or whatever. You just want a shitload of money and to trample on as many people as possible because that's who you are, and that's horrendous.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah. So anyway, as the article says, Trump presides over America coming apart. And
he
let's see
does.
what 2026 brings us. And with that in mind, unless you have more to say, um, I hope everybody has a wonderful 2026.
Yeah, I agree. I think I don't have any more much to say because they said a lot of it, and a lot of it was left out there on the article. I agree. I think everyone should. I hope everyone has a wonderful 2026. May it be joyful and bountiful and healthier for you.
Yes. So with that in mind, everybody, Happy New Year and
Peace out.
peace out.